Welcome to the Echo Essentials podcast. My name is Chris Pekarsky. On today's episode, we have in from the community, the coding wizard, the co-founder of Gofer.Run App, who comes from One Red Maple, which is this really interesting app. His name is Eric Dion. It's an app that is locally made, that is just launched, well, I guess by the time this airs, last week, but just recently. And it's an app designed to save consumers money on groceries in terms of optimizing the runs at different stops for the cheapest price items. Really interesting stuff. I was enamored. I was fascinated by this. I always try to talk, and I talk about it in this episode a lot, how I wish I could be more financially competent. This app kind of makes it easy for customers, and this episode is not paid by them. It's interesting. I think it's cool as a local story with local entrepreneurs and developers and a team. I think it's something that's kind of its time and very, very time appropriate. And so the conversation with Eric was great. We talked about how the app came to be, the Gopher name and the Gopher itself, obviously in terms of how they incorporate the use of AI, privacy concerns, what data it's collecting, how it even operates. It's really, really interesting stuff. I give it the full listen, as I always say. But before we get to all that and more, we want to throw it and thank our title sponsor of today's show, Source for Sports.
It's almost that time of year. Early mornings at the rink, fresh notebooks and backpacks, and a community gearing up for another great season of varsity sports. At Source for Sports North Bay, we're proud to be part of it all. Whether it's finding your kid's first pair of skates, gearing up for tryouts, or outfitting your team for the season ahead, we've got you covered. Because here, we're not just a sports store, we're neighbors, coaches, teammates, and fans. And we're proud to cheer you on every shift, step, and stride of the way. Visit Source for Sports North Bay at 1321 Fisher Street, and let us help you along your way.
On today's episode, we have in from the community. We have the co-founder and head wizard, as it's called, of the Gofer.Run App, Eric Dion. Eric, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah, great.
First and foremost, congrats on the launch.
Yeah, thank you. It's been exciting. We launched about 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And we're constantly observing the numbers, and we're refreshing the page on a regular basis just to see how things are going. So It's an exciting time. Yeah.
Well, it is exciting, and we'll get into the app in a little bit. But can you maybe detail our audience before we get into the app and the history of it and what it does? A bit about yourself.
Yeah, so my name's Eric Dion, born and raised in North Bay. I've always been a whiz, as you mentioned. I went to school here for computer programming. I've always been doing projects kind of off and on, just on a personal level and also in a sort of corporate setting. Avid football fan. Love North Bay as a community, and this is my home. And just overall, just happy to be here. I moved back from Ottawa maybe about 2 or 3 years ago to move back into my hometown, and that's kind of where I'm at now.
Well, welcome back, Eric. Obviously, you guys have a tremendous success here. You guys launched the Gofer.Run or Gofer.Run. How do you pronounce it fully? For those who may not know how to say it.
So we're actually still trying to determine how we should go about that. Yeah, officially it's Gofer.Run.
Yeah.
So .run, sort of akin to a website having a .com.
Yeah.
We decided to go with .run because we thought that was kind of more in line with what we're trying to do with the app. So it's you're doing a grocery run. So we thought we'd try to be unique. And so our website's actually Gofer.Run.
Yeah. I tried Googling and I went right to the website. It was really easy, which is smart.
That's what we're hoping for.
Good play. But maybe tell our listeners a bit about what the app is. Who's the Gopher? What's the Gopher? What's the purpose?
Yeah.
Who's it aimed for?
Yeah, so we thought Gopher was a fun name. So it's sort of like if you have an intern in office or whatever, Gopher, you're doing something for you. So we thought that was a good fit for what our app is essentially trying to be. Initially, it was kind of an AI play, but I think it's kind of evolved from that into something that's a little bit more of an assistant app, but also an information tool. So that's kind of where the name came from, and Mark I think also has some kind of obsession with gophers too. I'm not sure.
Show us the Mark Sherry.
Yeah, not sure where that comes from, but yeah.
Don't ask those questions. Yeah. Fair enough. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I'm reading here. Gopher the super rodent, throwing shade at the capybara or the capybara. because I initially thought before before I opened the article and did my homework, I was like, is this like a running based app, like you're going for a run, But I'm going for a grocery run.
It's a grocery run. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you have a list, and our app is really about taking the list of items that you want, the stuff that you want in a list.
Yeah.
And kind of providing you with a proposed run. So you have different options that the app can give you.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to go to one store. Maybe you want to go to two stores. Depending on the price or the savings, you might decide to go to. You might actually decide to bite the bullet and go to two stores if you're willing. If you're offered enough savings.
Yeah, it's
right. So then once you you are presented with all of the items and the run, then you can just sort of knock off the items as you're shopping.
If you're a savings guru or a coupon person or like a person who just loves looking at the receipt. Or if you just like save some cash, like I got to say, this is an app that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
I was maybe like I'm not a huge like I don't know. It sounds ridiculous. Like I'm not great with money, so I'm not like super cognizant of like how to best save it. Not to say I'm spelling like willy nilly, but I'm not looking in the space. Yeah. Is there a lot in this space right now that kind of competes or is similar to Gopher?
There is Flip, and so oftentimes when we're telling people about our app. They're often comparing it with Flip, but Flip is only flyers. So what we do is we go one step further than that. So flyers is just one subset of the entire equation, right? Mm-hmm. So what we do is we search the entire landscape. So if a product exists on a website, we will absorb it into the app, and we'll inform you about what's the best possible deal. Possibly irrespective of the flyers themselves, because the prices do fluctuate, right? Yeah. So we search in real time on your behalf, right? Yeah. So that's where some of the key differences are. But Flip is a common one that people are often referring to. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love that it's Canadian. I love that it's homegrown. I love that it's North Bay.
Yeah, me too.
I love that.
Me too.
I mean, I've been tracking. We talk about Mark Sherry. I'm pretty sure if my homework is correct. I know Mark from having his signature in a family house game in my parents' place.
Oh, the game Things.
Things in a Box.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same Mark, right?
That's the same Mark.
Yeah, so obviously you guys are in the innovative space, which I thought I looked at this app and I'm like, this is innovative. How has this not been really done the same way before, let alone how is it being done locally? Like, how did you guys come up with this?
Yeah, so this is kind of my favorite thing about, and I mentioned I moved back to North Bay. Yeah, that was the reason I moved back to North Bay. So Mark had approached me. I used to work at the City of Ottawa, and I was helping them manage their 411 public APIs, and I was doing a lot of work in the technology space, and that was very exciting to me. But Mark, at some point, wanted to expand on his success with the physical board game and produce a digital equivalent of the board game. So that's when he reached out to me. I had worked with him years prior as a consultant. And so he reached out to me, and I thought, wow, that sounds like a great idea. And it's, it sort of became a passion project. As well as my full-time job. So I moved back to North Bay, and that's kind of what we did. And maybe about a year later, we released the Game of Things on your mobile device.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow, okay. So it's been a busy few years. Because if you kind of moved back and you got this going, is that when, just to put a timeline to it, right? Yeah. When you moved back to North Bay, is that when, the process to start Gopher kind of took off?
Yeah, so it started after that. So that was initially what we were trying to do was to build a digital Game of Things, and that happened right as COVID was kind of taking the world by storm at that point.
Yeah.
So I think we kind of got caught off guard with all of the incoming attention and everything. So our focus was solely on that at first, and so none of these ideas had really come about. We decided at some point that wasn't going to be where we were going to continue working together, and as a result of the impact of COVID. Mark's just this ideas guy, right?
Seems like
he's very much an ideas guy. He noticed that because everybody's stuck in their homes, they're also ordering products to their homes through Amazon, and so that was creating this dynamic where Amazon was sort of taking over the market, and so that was having an impact on local retailers. So that was kind of where I would say kind of this new paradigm sort of started. He he saw that there was a problem in society where local retailers were starting to drop off one by one, and he wanted to do something about it. So he's the ideas guy, and I'm sort of the guy that brings it into fruition, right?
Yeah.
So we built we started a company called One Red Maple.
Yes.
And that was the first, which actually serves as sort of the base of what we use for Gopher today.
Okay.
So we kind of just started fresh. We did a lot of research about how we were going to host our solution, how we were going to release it into the wild, how we were going to overcome Amazon. So what we did is we created a little browser extension that observes where you're shopping on Amazon and will offer you a local alternative. So if you're buying,
I love that.
If you're ordering a pair of shoes and the same pair of shoes exists just down the street, well, we're going to offer you that same pair of shoes. And we found that 75% of the time, the local option was actually cheaper.
Really?
Yeah. So there was a lot of technology that went under that, and again, just became kind of a passion project. And we made it work. Unfortunately, it didn't really go as far as we wanted to because as much as people say that they want to support local, the convenience of Amazon was maybe just too much to overcome. So we decided to pivot. We had to pivot at some point, and so Mark thought, well, we got all this technology now. What do we do? What can we do with it, but still, solve a problem that exists in the world? And so overpaying for groceries was one of them.
Well, you've come at the right time.
Yeah.
When gas is kind of going up again, and the talk about grocery bills and saving cash, and the new year about healthy eating.
Yeah.
A lot of this, I would say, I know we're in March now at this point, but a lot of our current dialogue as we kind of enter spring is like, changing like healthy habits and especially around like tax season, watching our bills.
Yeah.
I feel like this app is kind of hitting the ground running at a really good time because you're introducing people, not just in our own community, but hopefully outside of that there are alternative ways that if you want to save cash, you can.
Mm-hmm.
And I will admit, this episode's not paid for I go for, but I downloaded the app, I tried it, and I gave the caveat earlier. I would like to be more financially adept. My partner absolutely is, and she was jacked about this. I told her about this. She's like,
great!
Wait.
I'm glad to hear it.
Oh yeah, I'm not trying to butter your bread here, but she was like, hold on, you're telling me there's an app that if I put in our grocery run, our grocery list, and you can get specific too,
right?
It'll pull from the area that which I'm living in. And she's the kind of person who will like thrill off at the chase of a good deal, right?
Yeah.
Whereas like, if you, in North Bay is relatively, central, like it's not a far drive from everything. So you can probably get it done, without there being a cost of gas.
Yeah.
And so being able to see, as you can kind of see if it's like 2 stops or 4 stops, how much money you're saving if you were to go these options is a really interesting visual. And right off the bat, I was like, okay, I got it.
Yeah.
This makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, we and that has been that you're echoing the no pun intended.
Well done.
You're echoing what we've been hearing from the community so far. We I think actually before coming here, we were looking at our analytics. We've been observing or refreshing our analytics on a regular basis.
Oh, isn't it addicting?
Everybody in the team is so excited. So it's great to see that unfold. And we think we just crossed 1,000 users in the last couple of days.
Congrats.
So in a small community like North Bay, as far as we're concerned, that's a success for now. But we have to see if that is going to translate into retention. If people are going to keep revisiting the app and going to remember to use it, and if it becomes a behavioral thing,
it needs to become like almost like a pseudo daily or like a weekly use app.
Yeah,
right? You need to be like
right.
the go-to. It's essentially supposed to replace. Maybe not replace the right word, but it's supposed to become the next evolution, so to speak, of like the grocery list you write down on your phone or on a piece of paper, or a napkin.
Yeah.
Along with like the flyers you might take or you might see, or things you might see on, I don't even know, like the website of the store you're looking at buying. It's trying to eliminate all those things into one central location.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. And so, our bread and butter is essentially offering the savings and trying to offer you alternatives that you may not be aware of, right? Mm-hmm. So we give you the scenarios and you decide what scenario you want. And it's an information tool. So to do the same, in order to gather the same amount of information, be sure that you're not overpaying. Yeah. The amount of work involved is incredible, right? So if you have 8 stores in your area and you have 10 items, well, now you're 10 times 8, 80 lists that you're going through to sift through and to match products. You'd be surprised, even the matching is not straightforward because you have different size formats, one store to the next, and it becomes very problematic. So yeah, that has been our core focus initially. But we've kind of, as we've been developing it, we've just had all of these spin-off ideas to just create more robustness in the entire experience, right?
Yeah.
So we've got recipes in there now, so you can start with a recipe.
Nice.
And of course, that integrates directly with our savings engine. So if you find a recipe that you like, I like shepherd's pie. If I find a nice shepherd's pie recipe, I might save that into a cookbook, and then a week later, I might decide to pull that back up, and then I can take all the ingredients for that recipe and I can knock off the items that I already have and just forward the items that I need into my current run. And then that will then send me off to whatever store I need to go to pick up those items. So we got recipes, and we also have flyers for people who love to peruse the flyers.
I also saw that you can do like a photo option, right? You can take a photo of an item. Is that correct?
Yeah, there's two main functionalities in the app that allow you to take a picture and do something with it. The core functionality, I would say, for picture taking is the price comparison. So, or rather I guess not really. Well, I guess you could say it's a price comparison functionality. So you're in the store and you're looking at a 2-liter bottle of pop or something,
Sure.
and you think, wow, this is a little higher than what I usually pay. You can take a picture of it with your device, and then it will then scour the web for that same exact product, exact match, and then you can then peruse through all the different stores and then sort of decide for yourself, okay, well, that store is I'm at independent, but Walmart has it for $2.99 or something. Yeah. I'll just walk over to Walmart and I'll buy it there. So it's very much an information tool. It's a consumer information tool is the way I like to look at it.
I mean, the amount of information, there's obviously, I'm really excited about it. I think there's a lot of room for it to kind of grow and pivot and make different changes. Like, I'm not pitching you ideas, obviously, but I'm sure you have about 1,000 of them. But
right.
Just seeing, I think it was on the first page of the website before I downloaded the app, where it compared, and I'm not going to name the grocery stores here because I'm not going to endanger potential sponsors or anything.
Sure.
But it compared, grocery store A and grocery store B with, from what I understood from the image and the description, the same exact roll of toilet paper.
Yeah.
Right? And the exact same amount of package, and the exact same number of rolls you get. Which, by the way, mini side note, toilet paper roll math doesn't make any sense to me, where it's like 12 rolls plus 15 rolls equals like 45, whatever it was.
Right. I mean, a lot of it can be smoke and mirrors too, right? I mean, it really depends.
But seeing the price difference, Eric, was startling because it was like $7.29 at one and it was like $3.99 at the other.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, hold on. There's not that much difference, is there?
Yeah.
But I guess there is.
There can be. Yeah. We have this thing that we call the Weasel of the Week that we put up on the website, and sometimes we put that on the Facebook as well.
Maybe what I saw.
And I think the last one I saw was paper towel. I don't know if this is the same one you're referring to.
Maybe.
But there was a price. I think the Weasel price was $12.99, and I think the good price was like $4.
I think this is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. And I've been surprised week after week. I've been surprised at just the amount of savings that people are missing out on a regular basis. I mean, that's what these stores do, right? They'll draw you in with their deals,
their tickets,
right? Their loss leaders, and then you'll purchase other things while you're there, right?
Guilty.
So I mean, how great is it to have a tool where you can, you get all the deals in one place, and then we just optimize for you.
Yeah. I mean, it's really interesting, and like I talk about getting specific. They're not going to sponsor the show, but like we like in our house. When I was a long time ago and I was a little more carb conscious, I was eating like a specific kind of bread that was like really carb reduced, right? It's like carbonate bread.
Yeah.
And I was like, no one's heard of this before. Like only a select certain people who know this. It's like a limited stock item in a grocery store, often in the freezer because it doesn't sell that often.
Yep.
Higher price value because you're getting like 3 slices or 3 carbs per slice. It's something ridiculous, right? Anyway, long story short, I was like, what are the chances that the app will understand if I type this out, hopefully correctly, it's going to know what this is? And it did. It picked it up.
Yeah, and this, I think that is maybe where we spent the most of our effort, is trying to get to that point where, from the very beginning, we wanted the app to be just open language, just plain English. We want you to be able to just go in there and just, describe the product the way that you would normally describe it to someone else, right?
Yeah.
So there's no rigidity there. And so we're using modern AI technologies to be able to parse out what it is your intent really is.
Yeah.
And so you can be as specific or as vague as you want.
Right.
And so if you're vague, obviously the AI is going to provide you maybe with more options, and so you might save a little bit more in that instance. But if you're very, very specific about what you want, then it will knock off other options. But you still get to know that, if that product is being sold at 3 stores, you're still getting the best one, right, in terms of price.
So that's the interesting part is that when I did a little test run, I was like, let's put in like 9 items. I'll put some that are specific and some more general. And I would say like in like the press release that Canada came out a couple days ago. Was it Wednesday or something? Yeah. It said like there might take a couple minutes for the thing to load, but it wasn't that long. It was pretty quick. Like I think we're so used to having everything so instantly accessible.
Yeah.
It's like to put the phone down, like go grab a glass of water, come back, and it's done, right? But I was testing to see like how accurate it could be generically and specifically, and it was pretty solid. I gotta admit. But it also offers you the opportunity whereas like if this isn't the one that it wanted, is there an alternate option?
Right.
Which I thought was nice because it was like, well, instead of like having to retype it, refeed it, it gave me a default off the bat. Right, which is nice.
Yeah. I mean, it's not going to be accurate. It's not going to be batting 1,000. Right. These AIs are more based on probabilities than they are about exact results. Right.
Yeah.
So it's still trying to infer quite a bit, and we do plan on having personalization in the app that's going to allow the AI to sort of adapt to your needs if you want it to. It can kind of sort of like Spotify algorithms and things like that. It's sort of learn a little bit more about your patterns if you wanted to.
Okay.
But currently, if it doesn't give you what you want, you can swap it out with something else, and we're gonna use that to sort of train the AI to be a little bit more accurate maybe the next time, and kind of feed back into the overall accuracy of the system.
So in an attempt to swim in waters that I can't quite tread in, I'm going to ask a bit about the integration and how, to as much as you can kind of detail with me and our listeners, like how AI is incorporated this, and maybe to a further extent, how are you even able to kind of get all this information in the first place? Like, do you work alongside these grocery stores or providers? Like, how do you get this information? Like, I know you probably can't tell me, but like I kind of want to know.
Yeah. I mean, I can sort of describe it. In a way, yeah.
Because it feels like magic.
I mean, it does. Well, I can tell you, the first time it ran successfully, it did feel immediately like magic.
Yeah,
it did feel like magic, and that sensation is real. For the most part, what we do is when you're browsing to a website, you open your Chrome browser or your Safari browser. And
Firefox guy myself.
You go, Firefox, your Firefox guy, or Opera, whatever you use. Brave, so DuckDuckGo, whatever you want to use. So you will navigate to you'll start with Google, right? Maybe you'll search the store that you want to go to. You'll use their search engine. You'll put in a search term, and it'll give you the results. And then so that whole process, we're able to sort of replay that in a way. So we can basically think of it as sort of like an automation. So in the same way that when you're using ChatGPT, you're asking ChatGPT a question. Mm-hmm. Sometimes now you'll notice that ChatGPT will search the web on your behalf, right?
Yeah.
It'll go and search something for you, right?
Sure.
And then bring it back.
Yeah.
So it's kind of something like that.
Okay.
That we're doing, is that we're essentially just browsing on your behalf. For the most part.
Okay, so
it's not something that it's not information that you're not already privy to.
Okay, yeah,
we're just sort of we're just basically saving you the trouble of having to go and do that yourself, which would be an incredible amount of time.
It's also 1,000 tabs on your browser, which at that point is killing your RAM.
Well, you mentioned that it takes a little bit to run, and that is kind of where the time sink comes from, is that you're not doing it necessarily all at once, and we also have to respect the store's terms of use and all that kind of stuff too. So there's that.
We often talk about the rhythm of life in North Bay. For Amanda, that rhythm was fast. Hockey practices, baseball games, juggling a full-time career, and keeping up with 2 energetic boys. But life hit pause after routine surgery led to a call she never expected. Stage 2 breast cancer. No symptoms, no warning. Suddenly, Amanda was facing a double mastectomy, reconstruction, weeks of chemotherapy and radiation treatments, and several additional surgeries. The path ahead was overwhelming. Through every stage, one question stayed with her. How do I keep being mom for my boys? Amanda's care team at the North Bay Regional Health Center made all the difference. They understood how deeply she wanted to hold on to familiar routines, cheering from the stands, being there at bedtime, staying present in the moments that gave her strength. Their compassion kept her connected to the two people who kept her fighting. She stayed present, she stayed grounded, she stayed mom. This holiday season, help ensure patients have access to the exceptional care they need during life's most challenging moments. Your gift helps patients like Amanda stay connected to the people they love while strengthening healthcare for families across our region. Visit nbrhcfoundation.ca or call 705-495-8125 to give.
It's basically Googling things for you, for lack of a better phrase.
You could kind of reduce it to that, yeah.
Right? Like,
in
so
a sense.
if like I were to go to, like, kind of like you outlined, I should have thought of this, but it helps talk it out. If you were to go to like store A, B, and C, and you're like, go to their grocery list or the grocery section, and you're like, okay, I want to filter by milk, I want to filter by eggs, boom, boom, boom. Like, I do that manually. This is kind of making it easier because it's doing it all for me, while also trying to look for deals instead of just looking for products.
Exactly. It's an information tool. Yeah. It's just information that you wouldn't be normally privy to unless you go through all of that work. So that's the barrier that we think we're kind of breaking through is we think that the future of AI is a world where, AI is kind of working for you and it's doing the things you don't necessarily, that are kind of daunting. Yeah. And also to give you the power to maybe kind of balance the playing field a little bit because, the stores have all the power almost, right? There's a lot of smoke and mirrors.
Yep.
This just gives, the community, the consumers a tool to at least be informed about what they're buying.
Yeah. I like that actually a lot because, it's... when we were younger, Eric, I'm sure like the idea of AI was a completely different one than we have in our current modern reality.
Yeah.
And I know there's a lot of, caution signs and barriers for what AI could do or could replace or can achieve. But I think in places where it can kind of help the consumer and automate and not replace art or like creative expression, I think is where it's probably most effective. And if this kind of essentially gives consumers a potentially a leg up, maybe not a leg up, but another feather in their cap to save money on their grocery bills, I think that's a win in itself, right?
I think so, yeah, and it's not really it's not the same type of engagement as an AI. It doesn't feel like an AI. We like
not even slightly.
We like to think of it as an assist. It's more of an assistant, or it's an information tool. Yeah. And it's just ultimately for convenience. And our mission statement is to avoid overpaying for groceries, right? And so we think that that's going to create more competition and ultimately be a good thing overall for society. So yeah, I think technology really needs to be used in that way, and I think that has to be at the forefront of the discussion about what you're building.
Yeah, and I'm sure a part of that might it's still probably pretty foreign for a lot of people to kind of maybe fully grasp how you can leverage AI in an I don't even know if I can say ethical way, but like in a way that helps you individually and financially, whereas the bigger part of the conversation. But I'm keen to know, the uptake on this and the tracking of it because, you guys are based out of North Bay, you're Canadian. You don't require, I love my biggest thing on this show, Eric. Ben knows this too, is I like to throw tomatoes at comment sections, which are already kind of throwing tomatoes anyway. It's fun. They don't come after me and I don't care. It's nothing, it's water on my back. But people were like, well, what's the privacy concerns with an app like this? And like, I will say like, I didn't have to put in my email. I didn't have to put in even my full name or like a unique username. It obviously is probably, reading and getting permissions through like your mobile phone and obviously, your geographical area based on your postal code. But like, can you maybe give a describer on like what, if anything, it's collecting about the person?
Yeah,
aside from shopping habits.
Great question, and that has been a growing concern in the age of technology. Is where's my data going? Once you put your information in there, it goes into a black box. You're not sure where it goes, right? Yeah. So from the very beginning, we wanted to provide a user experience that's comfortable, that is welcoming, that is non-intrusive, So we want to remove those barriers to entry. So when they get into the app, I think the only thing we ask for is postal code initially, as you mentioned.
I think that's it.
That's postal code, and then we kind of optionally give you the bring up the username prompt. I think
Yeah,
there's a
I think I
username
just put,
prompt
like,
or something.
my
We
name.
offer one up or whatever. We're probably going to change that, but that's basically it. The only reason we need, or not need, but the reason that we're asking for a username is because you can share lists in our app.
That's right.
As well, right? So something I kind of forgot to mention earlier is that you can collaborate in real time with your family, right? So you can add the kids. So having a name in there is kind of important to identify you as the member of the family, but it doesn't have to be unique. It doesn't have to be an email address. It doesn't have to be anything like that. You don't have to confirm an email address. You can just jump right in and start using it. That may come down the line. So if you wanted to do things like migrate your list from one device to another. So if you have a tablet or something like that, you might, at that point when we introduce those kinds of features, maybe, we offer up the option to sign up with an email address or phone number or something like that.
Okay.
Then if you want to go that far with it.
Sure.
But I mean, as far as we're concerned, it doesn't require, any information to use Google, right? So we kind of position ourselves in the same way. The only thing we need is we got to know where the products are. We got to know approximately where you are so that we can offer the products that are in that approximate location. And that's basically it.
And like, this is the thing that is like, it's the most simple. It's not asking you for your address. It's asking for a postal code. And like, I'm not saying you need to do this, but like you could put any postal code in the North Bay or area, and that essentially functions as long as it's a place that you'll be close to shopping to.
Yeah.
It'll serve the same purpose.
Exactly.
Right? Like it just needs to know like, okay, I'm looking for North Bay, not Toronto.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's not like the stores are moving around, right?
No.
So yeah. So that's, and we decided that very early on.
Yeah.
There was really no need to know your accurate location or any of that kind of stuff. We don't do any of that kind of stuff.
Right. I think it's a smart choice. I think it's a very consumer conscious and friendly choice, which is nice in the day and age of AI and data collection, especially when you consider that like, the North Bay community, which is kind of where like the testing ground is, I guess it seems like, even though it's out there for the world to consume.
Yeah.
Our community is a little older, and if you want like, our parents are using this app, they kind of need to make it simple. Right. And I think the app it's intuitive. It's like colorful. It's fun. The Gopher runs and he moves and waves to me. But it's like very little hoops to jump through.
Yeah. And you know what? I think the first time, and I think we really cracked that nut recently, just going back to the drawing board a little bit and starting with a design first approach, thinking of it from the user's perspective. I think maybe we kind of were very excited to jump in very early on and wanted to get to market very fast.
Yeah.
And so we put out sort of an MVP, but it didn't quite have that kind of welcoming experience that I'm talking about. An MVP, so minimum viable product. So just like the most minimal version of an app that still functions and still provides the minimum amount of functionality you need for it to be viable.
Basically EXE, like a code.
It's just like, that's right, exactly. Yeah. So you put it out there and then you sort of hope for the best. But we had we've had a couple of focus group sessions. We've had beta testers giving us feedback and whatnot. And we sort of, wrestled with it a little bit. And there was division in the team as far as, how to design it, what features should be in and out. But very recently, I would say maybe in the last month or two, we decided to kind of go back. Now that we know that it works, we can make it work. Let's go back to the drawing board a little bit and let's think about how the user is actually engaging with this and what's their experience like. Does it function well? The analogy I like to use is, if you're buying a laptop and you're walking by an Apple store or you're walking by a Radio Shack, maybe the Apple store is a little bit more inviting and you want to go in there, you want to check things out, right? So it's kind of maybe a little bit more along those lines. We try to make it a little bit more smooth and less friction.
I like that. Also, shout out to Radio Shack in 2026.
Yeah,
that's fun.
That's right.
I think we're showing
I'm aging myself a little bit.
No, it's totally
here,
fine.
yeah.
I used to love Radio Shack. But yeah, I think that's a key component, and I'm keen to know, and maybe this is like a bigger, because we kind of alluded to it in the last question, a bigger point in conversation. But like, how do you make this app? How do you make Gopher, seen by others? Like, is it based on like app market presence? Is it based on promotion? Is it based on things like this? Like, how do you get it into the hands and the pockets of others?
Yeah. Well, so I think I mean there's certain amount of marketing involved. There's different strategies that you can leverage for that. I think building a good product is the start. Obviously,
I agree.
We do. So I think that you start with that, and if you have a winner, you look at the analytics, you see how people are using it, you engage as much as possible with people who are genuinely using it. You try to remove yourself from the process as much as possible.
Yeah.
And then when you've got a healthy brew in your hands, then you can. Then at that point, you look at referral programs, right? Maybe you get an extra free month of usage if you refer someone or something like that, right? So it could be that way. It could be through social media marketing. It could be there's lots of different avenues. We haven't quite nailed that down yet. We've been so focused on building the actual product and making it work. So yeah, lots of exciting avenues to venture into there.
So actually, you bring up an interesting point. Maybe I misinterpreted, but I'm going to pivot to my next question. The app is free, right?
It is free.
Right.
It's good.
Is maybe it's like a bigger conversation. Is the intent to keep it free?
Yeah, it's the intent right now is to identify whether or not people like it and whether or not. So right now it is free, and we're aiming for it to stay free, but with maybe the caveat that down the line, we're going to have to keep the lights on at some point.
I was going to ask how.
So it could be. We were thinking maybe subscription model makes sense. Maybe 2 free runs a month or something like that, and maybe like the third one you pay for something, or you just maybe pay a monthly fee, or you only pay if we save you money. So that's another model that we've explored as well. So we're still we don't want to think too far ahead there until we know what the analytics looks like and how people are using it and what pieces of the app are valuable.
Right.
Because we might think that the Gofer.Run is the core piece, but then we might later find that in analytics, people are using the recipes or the search more often, right? Yeah. So we want to allow that to sort of dictate our decision making from this point forward.
Yeah, it's a fair point. Because I was looking at it, I'm like, this makes a lot of sense. And I was like thinking of like, okay, well, I mean, if I was a startup or if I was the app itself and like trying to figure out like, and I think about times in which I work with that go here, like how does it make its bottom line, right? Because I was like, this is super cool. You're saving people money.
Yeah.
Like how does it turn for you? And I was like, well, hold on. Like, let's think like how this would make sense. And I'm just talking theoretically. You don't have to answer any of this, but
that's fine.
I was like, well, you can't really take a deal from a retailer or like a grocery company because then that might kind of
skew the results.
It might sour the water, right? It's like, well, okay, at that point, you can't really go but that way. So I was like, well, how does it work? But this makes more sense in terms of
we're very like shopper focused, right?
Yeah.
We're focused on what's in the best interest of the shopper,
right?
Ultimately, so if we can save you $50 on a grocery run, if we save you $1 for every item in a 50 item list, then you're walking with $50.
Yeah.
Right? So that should justify a $5 a month app, right? So we're hoping that in order to offer that kind of perspective, we need people to be able to use it and give us some feedback and kind of move on from there. So yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I think, and I talked about, looking and chuckling at comment sections. Your colleague and app co-founder Mark was in there talking about how someone made like a comment about like how what's the cost of spending gas to go multiple different stops or just getting it all in one spot, and like I'm going to tell you about how my opinion turned. I changed.
Sure. I
was like, okay, maybe I personally hate self-checkout. I hate self-checkout. I think it takes away the human element. It's annoying. I know it saves it doesn't keep interaction. This is a totally different tangent. But it's so finicky and it's so like the bag on the thing, whatever.
Yeah.
I like to just get it done and get out of the way.
Yeah.
But it was only made reference, and I kind of used the app and I saw Mark's comment about how like it's up to you. It gives you the freedom of choice to make multiple different stops and see where what your threshold of saving cash, because it's going to looks like for you. And I was like, okay, this makes sense because again, North Bay is pretty condensed. It's very much nothing's all that far. It's either off of the highway, McEwen, Algonquin. It's all pretty integrated.
Yeah.
I'm thinking obviously very navel gazing for our own city. Why that makes a lot of sense. It's like, okay, well, if I were to spend aside from my time, which it's hard to repopulate, the gas isn't really a big deal because like if I'm going across town to a different, larger grocery store, like I'm not spending the difference in gas. I can't imagine I would be. I would probably be like a 5-minute detour of a drive, which would probably not compensate what might be $15 to $20 for my grocery run.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't make the difference, right? And so like it's a good thing if you want to spend the time, which is giving people the choice.
Exactly right. You make a great point. You articulated it perfectly. Exactly. I think down the line we do want to maybe incorporate the drive into the decision making as well. Right now it's just number of stores, right? Yeah. So 2 stores equals this price, 3 stores equals this price. But maybe the time traveled and the approximate cost in gas can maybe factor into the equation. So we could see that maybe conceive of that being an option down the line. Like, do you want to factor that in? Yeah. Because if you've got to drive 30 minutes to a store or something, we're showing you 2 stores, but maybe it's not quite worth it.
I don't know if this is.
But sorry, I was just going to add.
Go, please.
So one thing that's very crucial in the app is you can set a radius. So if you're not willing to go that far to that third store, you could still set a radius there, or you can knock off the specific stores that you don't want to go to. So if you never want to go to Walmart, for example, you can just say, okay, I don't want to go to Walmart, and it won't include that in the refactoring.
Interesting. And like, again, it helps to know if you shop. It helps to know where you're going. Helps to know where you live. But like, if it's out of your way and like you don't want to go across town when it could save you 5 minutes of a drive home instead of 30 minutes of a trip, right? That's your choice, right? And I think that's interesting. Now, like I'm spitballing with you here, so bear with me, Eric. Sure. I was like, it'd be interesting if you could somehow work in, local area like gas prices. Yeah. So it's like, okay, like I can save, money on eggs, milk, blah 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 blah, all this run, and like if there was some way to, I don't know if they're publicly available. I don't know, online at least, where it could be kind of searched and scraped. But I was like, if I could know where I can get cheap gas on the way home, at that point, now we're really kind of making something happen, right?
Yeah, and this is where I think every time I have this kind of conversation with Mark, it just kind of spawns.
You get ideas.
All of these ideas. Yeah, exactly. And so, the core of our technology does allow us to venture into those spaces, right? So it is very alluring, and it's I
don't like giving any secret. We don't know anything.
Now I'm not going to sleep tonight, so that's going to be in the back of my head for the rest of the night. That's okay.
I apologize.
That's okay. It's enjoyable. I think for the most part, and as long as the information is available on the internet, that's kind of the only requirement. Yeah. And then we can fit all that information into a ball, and then we can apply some kind of algorithm to it and spit out a result, and that's powerful, right? To do that effectively. It's
so
cool.
The
answer is yes. Yeah, you could totally do that.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, because I was like, everyone's got their favorite place. Everyone's like, well, I don't want to drive too far out of town and potentially get cheaper gas. I'd rather save my time. Yeah. Again, I reemphasize, for me, what changed my perspective on it, because I'm very much like I don't want to be out longer than I have to. Yeah. I hate grocery store traffic. It's I sound very anti-person. I'm very extroverted, but this drives me nuts of like the inner dynamics and quirkiness of like people traffic and people not caring about people's boundaries or whatever. It just drives me nuts. And so spending more time out doing these errands for me, it's very annoying. It's very irritating, and that's personal. It's my thing.
I can understand that.
So I was like, well, I'd like to save my time, but being able to see how much money I could save if I make that extra stop, it's kind of a compelling, tempting offer. Oh, it's the right word, but it puts things in a different light where it's like, okay, well, maybe you know what, like if I count the meals, because. Well, if I can save $30, that's another meal I could save. Yeah. If I just go and take that trip now.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's at the core of what we do in general as a company, because One Run Maple is very similar, right? Yeah. It's just offering a different perspective. Yeah. We're not trying to tell you what to do. We're not trying to, we're not trying to push any kind of, any specific products or anything like that. We're just giving you options, and this is a tool that you deserve, ultimately. This is information that's publicly available, and you can do this yourself if you want to. We just happen to be giving you technology that makes it easier. So I think, everything is about just offering the choice and the optionality. Yeah.
So without giving a whole lot of, the Krabby Patty secret formula here, like what's the next thing for Gopher? If you can kind of allude to it. It's obviously watching, but like what's next?
Yeah, in terms of the vision, I think right now, our app will function anywhere in Canada. So we're across the country, and we have been exploring options to move it into the U.S.
Okay.
We also down the line want to look at potential partnerships with delivery companies as well, so like the Ubers and the U-Rides of the world.
Oh yeah.
Possibly doing that. There's a lot of there's an endless supply. We've got a backlog so long of features that we want. That we really, it's so frustrating because it would be so awesome if we could just, wave a magic wand, just put them in there. We're just going to continue to expand on the feature set, and more so than anything else, and probably more importantly, we're just going to listen to feedback, and we're going to try to engage the user base as much as possible to hear how they're responding to this, and to see if it's something that's of value to them, and just continue to guide our decisions from there. So, yeah, I would say just continue to add features. Make it smoother, make it more reliable, more accurate, et cetera, et cetera. And then just grow into other markets.
So actually on that note, how do users, I know it's early stages, but like how do users provide feedback? Like how do you know what they want to see changed? Because I spent I'm on lunch hour, like 20 minutes kind of playing around with the app, but like how do they let you know like, hey, this is something that we think should be incorporated or changed, or like I'm having issues with this? Like, how do they tell you?
Yeah, there is a button in the profile screen that you can click on that points you to our support email address. Okay. We also, I think you can contact us through our website. Mm-hmm. The app stores themselves do have the means for you to provide feedback. Yep. We are going to have feedback mechanisms in the app now that we are live. We're going to make an effort to maybe prompt the user at opportune moments for them to give us some feedback that's very valuable to us. So was this result set accurate or not? Yeah. Right? And if it was, then great. We're gonna flag that as a good result. And if it was bad, then that's a bad result, and we're gonna continue to refine and review that. So I think in a lot of ways. The app stores do give you ways to do that, and it reaches us directly. And otherwise, you can do that through the settings.
Fair point. I just thought of something I should have asked earlier. My brain works in mysterious ways. As like an optical, interesting concern, like how fresh is the data that you guys are kind of like pulling from? Because like, for example, if I looked at, and I don't know the retail scape for groceries in terms of like how it's advertised and how it's marketed and listed and discounted. Right. But if I did if I put a run in the app, I was like, okay, here's the items that I need. Morning, I'll get to it after lunch. If prices change, how does that reflect? Like, how's that look?
I'm glad you asked that question. It's actually the thing I'm most proud of, I think, about this app is that we don't actually gather the information. Most projects of this nature, you're typically aiming to just collect information and then process it in some way or do something with it and kind of hone the data. We don't do that. So we're actually we're searching on your behalf for the most part. So we're actually retrieving information that's live on their website, and it's localized. Mm-hmm. So if Metro has a price on milk, or what have you, and you're in Montreal and there's a different price for milk there, you're going to get the localized price. Yeah. And so whatever it is on their website, that's what you're getting. Okay. And so even if the grocery store makes an error on their website, and they put milk at 1 cent, and you go to the store and you say, look, your website says 1 cent, they have to honor that. Right?
They do, eh?
Yeah. Well, it's probably within reason, but we've got a couple examples where where you can whatever the price that's listed there, they just review it on the website and they'll honor the price. So.
Interesting, because like I'm looking at that, I was like, well, like I'm not a programmer, I'm not a developer, but like obviously like the thing is like pretty solid, like it's top to bottom functional. Like if there was an error on their side or the retrieval side of it, like could there be any disputes between the customer and the retailer?
Yeah, and then the 1 cent example is probably a little extreme.
Of course,
but you can in the same way that if it's on the shelf and the price is incorrect, then you can dispute that on the spot, and it's no different on the website.
Interesting. Yeah, it's cool. I'm gonna give it a shot this weekend. We got stuff to do this weekend. I like to. I mean, it's interesting because this came from the idea of trying to shop local, and I know Amazon has such a gigantic looming shadow over every marketplace. Yeah. Globally, definitely here in Canada.
Yeah.
And like our area doesn't have a Costco, and so there's like a very interesting opportunity at the local end to kind of see like how that works without there being really, I would say probably the two of the bigger players in the game in terms of like either competing or cooperating with the app. It's kind of like a really interesting, I don't know, like I keep calling it like a testing ground, but like it's out there. I wanted to see how the community uses it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really do.
Yeah, you and me both. Well, and you mentioned Costco. We the flyers in the app do still include Costco.
Yeah.
There are still, there's people from North Bay that'll make the drive if they're, if they're planning
Sudbury,
to stock
Barrie.
up or whatever. Yeah, that's right. They'll make the drive if it's worth it. So it does kind of facilitate that kind of shopping as well. And of course, you can expand your radius. I think we allow you to search up to 100 kilometers. I think it is their maximum. Maybe it's 50. I can't remember if we changed it. But so yeah, so it's quite a vast network. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm watching. I'm gonna use it. But before we get you out of here, is there anything you want to shout out for the team or shout out to the community who wants to kind of use this?
Thanks for offering that up. I work with an incredible team. The people I work with are as hungry to solve this problem as I am, and it's great working with people like that. And they know who they are, and it's come in and work every day and engaging with them, and to take this journey on with them has been very rewarding. And yeah, absolutely, we should all be proud of what we produced, and we hope to at the end of the day change that shopping behavior and balance the equation.
I mean, as a proud North Bayite and a homer as I am, I'm also a bit of a stickler. I'm very anti-corporate, so the chance that I could save some money and give it back to me as the consumer,
right.
I love this. So congrats on the launch.
Thank you so much.
Team.
Yeah.
You guys are great. We'll touch base. I want to know more about it as the road kind of continues. But thanks for coming in and sharing with us. It's great.
Yeah, Chris, this is great. Thank you so much. Thanks
Pleasure.
for having me. Ciao.
Thank you so much for listening or watching the Echo Essentials podcast. My name, as always, is Chris Pekarsky. Let us know what you thought about the episode. Are you a person who makes multiple stops at grocery stores? You're a one-stop shopper? Let us know. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe to the episode as well, wherever you find us. If you get a chance, if you can, check out northbayecho.ca and subscribe to the Echo Essentials newsletter, where you can get information all about the local community and our podcast directly to you each week. Thanks so much for listening.